Ah, the Indian Chief of yesteryear. A gigantic Art Deco skirted fendered chrome to the max behemoth irresistible to an average cruiser rider. From the year 2000. But alas, it's not Y2K, and this thing isn't likely to attract today's buyer. First, skirted fenders are so your grandpa. And so is all of that chrome. Big and shiny is out. Minimalist and blacked out is in. And this is where Indian had a problem. All of their cruisers were either huge or smallish. The big boys were gigantic land barges in the size and price range of the Harley touring line, and the Scouts were Sportster-sized motorcycles. Enter the new Indian Chief line. The bike's designed to compete directly with the Harley Softails for that customer who wants the stripped-down cruiser with the air-cooled big twin. There are 6 models, most of which have a very clear Harley counterpart. So in this video, we'll do a point-by-point comparison of what the Chiefs and Softails offer on paper and which ones are the better deal in each price range. Stay tuned, and while you're at it, hit those subscribe and like buttons. It helps the channel and is much appreciated. Alright, let's go. Now on the surface, these two lines of bikes appear to be very similar. Both the Chiefs and the Harleys are built around 2 air-cooled engine sizes and modular designs which are shared between the respective model lines. Each line offers a thinner 19-inch as well as a fat 16-inch front wheel option. All the bikes give you that long cruiser silhouette with a low seat height, a mountain of torque, and a traditional American sound and feel. Furthermore, each manufacturer offers 2 big air-cooled V-twins, the 107 and 114 Milwaukee 8 from Harley and the 111 and 116 Thunderstrokes from Indian. The Indian motors make 108 pound-feet of torque for the 111 and 120 pound-feet for the 116, and these numbers are up somewhere between 1 and 2 pound-feet on their 107 and 114 Harley counterparts, respectively. However, the Harleys are a bit lighter, so performance should be close. Now to the differences. With these new Chiefs, Indian has introduced a beautiful steel tube frame with a cast aluminum subframe. It's exposed, it's curvy, it's sexy, and it looks more attractive than the Softail frame. In addition, the rear suspensions are different. The Harleys are made to resemble the hardtail bikes of the distant past with a hidden monoshock. The Chiefs employ dual shocks which are angled to continue the line of the frame directly to the rear axle. Both designs are visually appealing, and which one you like better is up to your own taste. We know the Harleys handle decently with their setup. Whether the dual shock design on the Indians will be better or worse remains to be seen. A third difference is technology. What electronics does Harley offer on its Softails? ABS, that's it. Here's where Indian has stepped it up by offering a color LCD display with phone connectivity, on-screen maps, and rider modes on some, not all, Chief models. This really sets the Chiefs aside from the Softails and makes them more appealing to younger riders who tend to place more importance on such modern touches. There's one final difference that is not mechanical but may sway your decision about which one to get, and that has to do with dealer support. I live within a 40-minute drive of 2 different Harley dealerships. If I want to drive to my closest Indian dealer, it's a 2-hour drive, and may turn out to be much longer than that as I have to drive through the city of Toronto to get there. In rush hour traffic, that could easily turn into 3 hours. Harley's extensive dealer network gives them an advantage in convenience over Indian. No one wants to make a trip to the dealership a full day affair or even a multi-day affair, not to mention the prospect of looking for a dealership after a breakdown on a long tour. Advantage Harley. One strategy that may close the advantage would be offering Indian motorcycles and service at all Polaris dealerships. Since Polaris owns Indian, perhaps the dealership network could be expanded in this manner. So let's take a look at the actual line of Indian Chiefs and their corresponding Harleys to see how they stack up, on paper at least. First, we'll pit the least expensive base Chief against the Softail Standard, the least expensive Harley Big Twin. The Indian comes with the 111 Thunderstroke, a standard dash, not the LCD, a blacked out finish, mag wheels, and several color options. The Standard counters with the Milwaukee 8 107, a pretty cool minimalist dash, wire wheels, and black paint only. The Softail Standard has a base MSRP of $13,600 US, while the Chief costs $14,500. Add $800 to both bikes if you want ABS, and add another $500 to the Indian if you want it in white or red. So which one to choose? The Softail is less expensive and has a better looking instrument cluster, but the fact that the Chief comes with a very cool blacked out look and several color options would tip my decision its way. It just looks way meaner than the Standard. Next, let's step it up to the Chief Dark Horse, which has everything the Chief offers but also has the 116 Thunderstroke, standard ABS, and the LCD display with the rider modes and connectivity features for $17,000 US. If you want it in any color other than black, add $500. This bike is closest to the new Street Bob 114, which Harley just introduced, and which sports the Milwaukee 8 114 passenger seat and pegs, a blacked out look, wire spokes, and costs $15,000 plus $800 for ABS and $400 for additional colors. Now this is a tougher choice. Both bikes look good and deliver value, but in my opinion the Street Bob is just a little bit better of a deal. It looks great in black with those orange graphics on the tank, and if you add ABS it costs $15,800 US, which puts it at the same price as a base Chief with ABS, a 111 Thunderstroke, and a white or red color option. It costs $1,200 less than a Chief Dark Horse in black, so unless you really want mag wheels and the LCD display with rider modes, the Street Bob is the better value here. Okay, let's move on to the fat front wheels. The Indian Chief Bobber costs $16,000 for the base bike without the fancy display or rider modes. It has upside down forks, a 111 engine, and a blacked out look. Add $800 for ABS and $500 for colors. This bike is out to steal market share from the Harley Softails Slim, which runs a 107 engine and also costs $16,000. Like on the Indian, ABS costs $800. If you want colors, that will be $400 for solid and $750 for two-tone. This one's a toss-up. Personally, I'd go with the Slim, as I like the extra gallon of fuel it carries, two-tone option, as well as the gauges in the top of the tank rather than on the handlebar. But there will be those who disagree. Handlebar mounted gauges are more visible while riding, but putting them on the tank cleans up the look of the bike considerably. Anyways, the Slim's 5-gallon tank cinches it for me. The Chief Bobber Dark Horse with its 116 engine, standard ABS, touchscreen, and rider mode seems most likely aligned with the Fat Boy in the Harley lineup. The Fat Boy also has ABS standard, runs the 114 engine, and like the Slim carries 5 gallons of fuel, one more than the Chief. Now here the Indian undercuts the Harley's price by $1,000 with the usual additions for colored paint. The Harley again has a two-tone option. If price and tech are more important to you, get the Chief. Personally, I'd go for the bigger tank on the Fat Boy and save myself some fuel stops. Also on the Fat Boy, I could pretend to be Arnold. Finally, we have the Super Chief with the 111 engine and the Super Chief Limited with the 116, basically light tourers in the vein of the Heritage Classic, which comes with either a 107 or a 114. At $18,500, the base Super Chief 111 is $500 less than the Heritage 107, but that's deceiving because the Heritage comes with ABS standard. With ABS, the Super Chief is $300 more expensive. Add the usual amounts for the colors. The Super Chief Limited adds the touchscreen, rider modes, and the 116 engine, and at $21,000 costs $500 more than the Heritage 114, which has no fancy electronics. What both Harleys have though are 5-gallon tanks, which may be more important to riders who intend to use them for light touring. I'd pick the Super Chiefs here strictly on looks, but looks being such a subjective thing, your opinion might be the exact opposite. So there we are, a point-by-point comparison of the two lines, which admittedly tells you nothing about the riding experience of the bikes. I've ridden bikes with both the Milwaukee 8 and the Thunderstroke and can confirm that both engines perform very well. The Softail chassis does a good job as well. I haven't ridden the new Indian Chiefs yet, but doubt that there will be any issues with the handling of the new frames. Ultimately, with Harley, you're getting a known quantity with a huge dealer network. Parts are plentiful and most mechanics will know their way around the engine. Indian isn't quite as well established, but that's a plus for some. It might be cool to show up to the group ride on something different but equally American. One more thing, reliability. Harley's reliability has increased greatly since the AMF days of the 70s. There isn't much data on Indian's reliability, but we do know that Victory, the other motorcycle produced by Polaris, had reliability numbers a very short stone throw from the Japanese manufacturers. If that quality has carried over to Indian, the average owner shouldn't have many issues at all. So which one would I spend my own money on? The Street Bob 114 in black with that orange number 1. I'm partial to the wire-spoked 19-inch front wheels. I like the minimal gauge and the fact that Harley included the passenger seat and pegs. I don't need a color touchscreen or rider modes, and the most important factor of all, I have 2 dealers within a short drive of my house. I've come to appreciate that seemingly insignificant advantage as I've grown older. Now, if Indian opened up a dealership in the same radius, I'd have a very serious look at that Chief 111 with ABS in red. That sexy frame might just win me over. It'd be a toss-up between the two. So the Chief is dead. Long live the Chief. Indian has definitely produced an interesting product unencumbered by some of the more negative stereotypes surrounding the Harley culture. This might make the Chiefs more appealing to younger riders. So do you think the Chief line will take significant sales from the Softails? If you were in the market, which one would you go for, and why? Cruise on, my friends, and cruise safe. If you're interested in any of the gear that Brooke and I wear or use, or the camera equipment we use to film this channel, the links are below. Everything listed there was bought with our own money and we are not sponsored by any company. However, the links below are affiliate links and the channel is paid a small amount for referring you to shop at no additional cost to you. We do not recommend any products that we are not satisfied with ourselves, but we do strongly urge you to do your research and select the correct size for items like helmets and clothing. As always, thanks for watching, your support is greatly appreciated. Please hit that subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. And whatever you ride, enjoy it. Wave at other bikers no matter what they're riding. We're all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood. Keep the rubber side down, shiny side up, and may the spokes be with you.